Many people I meet in everyday engagements ask about personal branding, or brand I as some call it. But what exactly is that brand I that helps you define who you are as an individual outside of the environment that you work, outside of your personal space and outside of your family life? To me, personal branding is not about being drastic. It's not about even being ridiculous. I'm sure you've seen those. Orange socks, green jackets, t-shirts, tackies on a suit. Fantastic. But is that who you really are? Or is it that you're following some fad that someone proposed online? Or you've seen a friend do it and believed it worked? There's a very thin line between differentiation and individuality. And sometimes differentiation can border on ridiculous. To me, about being an individual is about, firstly, self-belief. It's about having that understanding that if you want people to understand what you're saying, what you believe and what you stand for, you need to be willing to engage. And that engagement comes from a self-assurance and understanding of yourself. Just imagine what a situation would be is if you don't understand yourself, but you want someone else to do so. Would that work? I don't think so. I believe understanding yourself and finding meaning within yourself is more important than trying to be understood. It's trying to understand yourself as an individual so that when you engage with people, when you share information and want to be understood on that level, you have something to offer and a basis to work from. Now, internationally, a lot of people range from the extremes of Lady Gaga to the most conservative of the Pope. But where do we fit in this structure? I don't think we need to fit in any particular structure. Yes, there are social conforms. Yes, there are social norms. But it is about finding yourself and finding what means the most to you. Now, if you want people to believe in the things you say, in what you believe and what you expect, you need to be your first own fan. If you are not your first biggest fan, your first biggest believer, who do you expect to believe and support you? In development, which is a long process, and I've taken the time through the years and I've had friends and colleagues, and my first starting course was Mike Lipkin, the popular yes man that was on SABC in the really old days in South Africa. But at that point I changed. At that point it helped me believe in myself. It wasn't Mike Lipkin making the difference, it was me making the difference, believing in myself. It was finding meaning in myself first. That started now 15 to 18 years ago. Now if one takes the entire process, I've met many people who profess when you ask them, what do? They tell you, I'm Six Sigma, or I've done Dale Carnegie. And my response usually, without saying it out aloud, is, so what? So what you've done the course? Because what I'd like to be able to establish in those relationships and understanding is, can you live those values? Can you implement those values? I'm far from perfect, but I'm willing to acknowledge it's a long journey. But I have an understanding of who I am. I'm not a mold of what Dale Carnegie professes I need to be. I'm not a mold of what Richard Branson thinks I should be. I'm a mold of who I believe I can be and who I should be. Branson's not a second-rate Donald Trump. Or Donald Trump's not a second-rate Robert Kiyosaki, or the other way around. I think they found their personal meaning. They found their personal belief through struggles and strife, but also a willingness to understand that you need to change with circumstance. A lot of things in South Africa have changed. A lot of things internationally have changed. The United States has a first black president. Imagine if you said that 10 years ago, or you said that during the Bush administration's war campaign. Some people would have thought you lost your mind. But President Obama is probably one of the youngest presidents in the world. Well, easily for the United States. But what differentiated him? He differentiated himself in saying he believes in what he can. But more importantly, he sold the concept of saying, yes, you can. Because he believed you can do what you please and you can be that change. And that belief of speaking to millions of people individually meant he had faith in those people, and they then had faith in him to make him the president of the most powerful country in the world at the moment. These are just some of the few examples in which people speak and have shown and illustrated those values of being individuals. President Obama didn't go ridiculous. No gangster chains, no tackies in parliament, no t-shirts, no caps, no rap. But he engaged as an individual, being able to sell what he believed, but believing in himself first. Yes, he comes from a family tree that is not originally American, but He's proudly American. He believes in the value of being what he thinks American is about. And I think it's not just about being American, not about being South African, but about being yourself and branding yourself so people understand who you are first, after you've understood yourself. And when you've understood yourself and can project that with confidence, then I believe you have found yourself and can then sell Brand I or Brand You.